Hey guys, how you going? Hope you're all doing very well. This afternoon I'm going to be doing another movie review for you all. This movie is a dark comedy from the Netherlands, Dutch language English subs, released in the year 2019, directed by Ivo van Aert, and this film is called The Columnist. So The Columnist is about Femke Boot. Femke is a very popular celebrity. She's on talk shows. She also is a columnist for a very popular website. So she has a good private life. She has a teenage daughter, a very beautiful home, and she's recently acquired a new lover who's also a very popular writer. So she appears to be happy in that regard, but unfortunately her work life is proving very stressful because she has been the target of internet trolls. So the abuse that she's copying is actually very derogatory, very stressful to cope with, but her lover is telling her, don't worry about that, focus on the good things in your life. But it's easier said than done, and she's obsessed with what the trolls are going to write next. This is up until a point where she breaks, and now she's going to exact her own sense of brutal justice as she tracks down each and every troll, and she's going to kill them in brutal ways. So she's not going to stop until the trolls leave her alone, and so as the body count rises, so too does the suspicion of the police. So whether or not Femke can be stopped is something you're going to have to find out for yourself, because that's as far as I'm going with my synopsis. Now my thoughts on The Columnist. I wasn't sure what to expect coming into this movie. I didn't really hear too much about it, but I am a massive fan of Katja Herbers, who's a very well-known actress, and to see that she was in her native Dutch language film, I thought, well, this is definitely one worth checking out. And so it does delve into internet trolls, and internet trolls is part of everyday life as far as content creators are concerned. So over my 10 years on YouTube, I've lost count how many times I've actually had to deal with trolls, you know, gutless cowards hiding behind a computer screen, and the vulnerabilities that content creators actually have in actually showing their faces on screen and voicing their opinion. So The Columnist does have a very interesting story to it, but I thought, well, how is it going to produce this subject matter? Is it going to do it in a way that's not very serious and just caricature, or is it actually going to make you think? And I was surprised to see that it actually had both elements. On the outside, it is a very caricature, very over-the-top, gory sort of horror film, but on the inside, it was actually a movie that is very therapeutic and cathartic, is that it takes you into psychosis and it actually uses it in a way where you can revel in the glory of this horror film. So what I mean by that, we always think as a content creator, we're going to kill those trolls, we're going to wipe them off the face of the earth, but you're not going to take that in a literal sense because you're not a psychopath, whereas this movie takes that level of psychopathic thought and actually uses it in a way where it was very cathartic, very therapeutic, and it's a very sick thing to say, but this is exactly what the film understands, and that's what I liked about it the most, is that it was a lot of fun, but it was also making you think about how you actually would deal with your trolls, in that this is a woman that was seemingly harmless, but she's been pushed to the brink as a result of this bullying. And so these trolls are making this monster, and it was actually backfiring against them, and so they're getting what they deserve, but at the same time they don't deserve this level of violence. And so it does make you have that sense of guilt, which is exactly what a dark comedy should produce, in that you're actually reveling in something, but at the same time questioning as to whether or not this should be happening. And so The Columnist does make you think on that level, and that's something that was the most surprising aspect. I wasn't prepared for that. So the acting from Katja Herbers was absolutely fantastic, a very likeable individual, and when she's going to these extreme lengths, you're not condoning the acts of violence, but you know that she is basically the result of that relentless, you know, these relentless attacks from these cyberbullies. And these cyberbullies never think as though it's going to come back on them and they're not going to suffer those repercussions, but when they get those repercussions and consequences, you think to yourself, okay, you got what you deserve, but ultimately, as I said, that question is produced as to whether or not they deserve it to go that far. So there's no real winners in this movie, it's just a cycle of violence that's a result of, you know, psychological torment. And so it's something that I wasn't expecting to hit me on that level, but The Columnist certainly did that. So the continuity of the film, there were moments where I thought this movie could have used a little bit more patience because it kind of rushes through some areas of Femke's life, and I thought as though if it slowed down a little bit, it could have given you a little bit more absorbing quality into her journey from victim to avenger. But that's not a major criticism because it's not a movie that's taking itself seriously. It's a movie that wants to have a lot of fun, but as I said, the dark presence of this movie is that thought of, you know, these trolls getting what they deserve, but ultimately it's going a little bit too far. You know, they're suffering horrible deaths, and that's something that they don't deserve, but they deserve to have those repercussions. And so it's a really difficult sort of thing that you have to balance as far as getting your vengeance, and there does come a point where the vengeance does become too far, and now that harmless individual that you really like has actually become, you know, this person who's doing the wrong thing. And so it's just a victim of circumstances, and those circumstances are painted in a way that, as I said, it's a caricature world, very vibrant colouring as far as cinematography is concerned, but an added surprise that will actually make you think. And so there's some pretty brutal kills, but done in a way that is a little bit over the top. So as I said, not trying to disturb you, but it does have a hint of thought-provoking material that you can relate to if you are a content creator. So it's therapeutic and cathartic, but at the same time making you feel guilty, which is exactly what the movie should do. It has a little bit of humour thrown in there, but it's not enough to really make this a straight-out comedy or a straight-out horror film. It's just got a fine blend that makes it definitely one worth seeing. So it's not the best movie ever created, but it's certainly not the worst. It was fun, at the same time made me think, and as a result of that, I'm going to give this film 3.5 stars. Alright guys, that's it for my review. Hope you enjoyed it. Till next time, keep watching movies, and I'll see you later. Bye.